first at 10. Her last name is one used in conversations on a regular basis for Michiganders. Tonight, word that Lena Meijer has passed away at the age of 102. Here's a look back at her life and legacy. Born in 1919, Lena Meijer grew up in rural Montcalm County, one of two kids to her parents who had a farm in Lakeview. Lena grew up working the family farm and walking to school. During her formative years, she played the piano and organ in church and had a great love for baseball. She graduated from Lakeview High School in 1937, going on to work at a bank before receiving a phone call to work at Thrift Market in Greenville, which was owned by the Meijer family. In 1946, Lena, who worked as a clerk in the store for years, tied the knot with her sweetheart, Fred Meijer. A day she may not have realized was in the making for years, with Fred planning to marry her the very first time he asked her out. The couple went on to have 3 children and celebrated the opening of the first Grand Rapids Meijer store in 1949. The company now has about 200 locations across the Midwest. But Lena and Fred weren't all business. Through the years, the couple supported the arts and promoted both cultural endeavors and nonprofits in West Michigan. One project of theirs that has continued to grow, Frederick Meijer Gardens, which opened in 1995 in April. Fred and Lena donated the 132 acres and their entire sculpture collection. Since then, it's grown to include an amphitheater, children's attractions, and the Japanese garden, which was first announced in 2012.
It was also Fred's last wish for Meijer Gardens. And really, it's a gift, well, he wanted it to be a gift of sorts to Lena Meijer, because Lena loves Japanese gardens.
Another attraction for outdoor enthusiasts, the Fred Meijer Heartland Trail, which rolls through 42 miles of central Michigan. It started in 1994, completed in 2015. 2 years later, a dedication ceremony was held for the Lena Meijer Trail Connector. But it wasn't just community staples and the arts they contributed to, like this 2006 renovation of the Civic Theater in Grand Rapids.
They're inspiring.
In 2004, the Fred and Lena Meijer Heart Center opened in downtown Grand Rapids, adjacent to Spectrum Hospital.
Grand Rapids is to be congratulated for having this wonderful facility, and we will build on it.
Since then, doctors there have saved countless lives, including Ron Bentley, who, after a battle with progressive heart failure, received West Michigan's first heart transplant in 2010. They also made the lead gift for the Lemon Holton Cancer Pavilion and were the ones who named the facility, which opened in 2008. Lena and Fred also placed emphasis on education, offering scholarships to Meijer employees and their children. Families who mourned the loss of Fred when he passed away in 2011.
The only thing I can remember is, even though we wore name badges, I think if we turned our name badge the other way, he would still remember who you was.
And while the couple may be gone, both Fred and his beloved Lena will be forever remembered by the countless impacts and contributions they made to the community they loved. Indeed, memorial arrangements are still being finalized for Lena Meijer, but we will pass those along both on air and online when we get them. And family and friends, meanwhile, are remembering their time with Lena. Fox 17's Matt Whitkos spoke with her nephew tonight. Matt, what did they have to say about her?
Ken Rader says his Aunt Lena was a treasure of the community, really caring for everyone who's out there, and you could really tell by the way she spoke, or he spoke about her, and seeing all the comments on Facebook.
And she's 102. She wore out.
Ken Rader heard the tragic news of his Aunt Lena Meijer Saturday morning. If there's anything you would like to say to your aunt, what would it be?
To say I miss you. It was always fun to be around you.
Rader shared with me his aunt was a little bit of a tomboy growing up.
She said she was the best pig rider in the area. She could outride the boys, stay on the pigs longer.
Her nephew still takes care of her family's farmland in Montcalm County.
She'd eat her lunch up on top of the windmill. She'd climb up and sit on the platform under the fan and eat her lunch so she could have a better view.
That windmill now sits inside Meijer Gardens. Lena and Fred Meijer were known for their philanthropical donations. State Senator Rick Altman says Lena was always giving back to her roots.
One of the things that she was helpful with was our Music in the Park program. And matter of fact, we named an outdoor pavilion in her honor.
Altman spent only moments with her during her impressive lifetime, but still remembers them like they were yesterday.
Was somebody who you could just sit and felt like you were talking to your grandmother when you talked to her. And she just seemed like a very loving, caring person. And yes, I mean, she's certainly going to be somebody that we'll miss.
Rader says when they would visit his aunt and uncle, when they could no longer drive, they would convince them they would buy them dinner if they drove. He says every time that they would go out, his aunt would get liver and onions. They thought it was disgusting, but it's a memory they're holding on forever. In the newsroom, I'm Matt Whitkos, Fox 17 News.